Hey, I'm doing a 4-year review, 4-year, 40,000 mile review on our JL Wrangler. Stay tuned and go wheel. All right, so question number 1, why did we buy it? I wanted a daily driver that was turnkey, that was a brand new vehicle. We'd never owned a new vehicle. I've always owned like $2,000 Craigslist Cherokees or WJs. So yeah, turnkey, straight axle, 4-to-1, lockers front and rear, something I can put like a 1 or 2 inch budget lift on and some 35s or 37s and basically wheel easy to mild trails, maybe do a little more of a build down the road, bolt-on stuff, and wheel maybe like as hard as the Rubicon. The Rubicon's not that hard. It's the hardest trail I'll probably do in this. Otherwise, the rest will be most of the other Sierra Nevada trails that are just not Ford ice. And I just didn't want to wrench on anything. We had a lot of WJs and XJs and 3rd gen 4Runner that were like constant work. And so that was kind of the main reason we bought it, is we never owned a new vehicle and we wanted something that was turnkey that I didn't have to wrench on other than maybe install a budget lift and some 35s, some bolt-on mods. What modifications did we do to it? So we've done a lot. I have a ton of other videos. I won't go into super big detail on every single level of modification we did over time, but I will give you the quick download. We got some 2.5 inch AEV coils and shocks, metal cloak, upper and lower control arms, front and rear with metal cloak drop brackets. You can kind of see them right there. LOD rock sliders, metal cloak tube fenders and fender liners, Quadratec aluminum roof rack, hook off-road cargo rack, Amazon Prime special rear tailgate table, and then a Moto-Built tire carrier. Got some Pro Comp 35-inch tires on here right now that I'll be going up to some 37-inch Mickey Thompsons and some Method bead grips. The Mickey Thompsons are right here, just waiting on the Methods. Got those on clearance off their website like last week for $200 each, which seemed like a hell of a good deal. What else have we done to it? Like rear Evo track bar bracket that raises the rear roll center, the stiffer Hellwig rear sway bar. We've got a WFO track bar on the front, which is huge, Curry drag link, and a metal cloak tie rod. And I've gone through a couple steering boxes. We got another steering box on there. And so, yeah, we're going to be putting on a Next Venture Motorsports front winch bumper, but right now it's just the winch plate. So those are like the main mods. Otherwise, I don't think we did anything else. Did a little tiny light bar, little like single strip 10-inch long wide single row LED light bar, which I think is great, honestly. Like, you don't need any more than that. Okay, next question. What problems have we had? This thing has been almost 0 problems the whole time we've had it. Like 40,000 miles of no problems, except for tons of steering wander and death wobble. But like mechanically, like engine, transmission, transfer case, electrical, nothing, just nothing with any of those areas. Like, it's been great. Otherwise, it's just been like trying to get it to drive straight. We finally got it there. It drives really straight now, and I actually love driving it now. It took 4 years and 40,000 miles to figure it out after going through lots of parts. You should just watch my other videos. I don't want to waste like 20 minutes on this video talking about all the steering wander and death wobble stuff. It's fixed now. It drives great. I wish I started where it's at now. I probably would have bought a sport model and put in the front 44 and re-geared the rear and just done that instead of buying a Rubicon. I don't think you even need the 4-to-1 with the 8-speed with the granny low. So basically no problems. Been awesome. What do we do with it? So we bought it as like my daily driver and as a mild wheeling rig or easy wheeling rig, regular forest road camping, or you got to put it in 4-low to climb some steep, long climbs with some rocks, but nothing like hardcore. And then easy Jeep trails, moderate Jeep trails, and then like the occasional difficult trail. And it's been great for that purpose. I think the reliability with the straight axle versus IFS is huge for that. Downside is you lose some on-road drivability as a daily, being a straight axle, in the sense that, you know, there's some under engineering going on here. Frame's pretty thin, axle brackets are thin. The factory front end I think is kind of junk. I think you're just better off getting rid of it, getting rid of the fad, and putting in like an aftermarket front housing. What would I do differently? So kind of alluding to the previous things, it's been great otherwise, except for the steering wander death wobble. I would start by going straight to an aftermarket 44 front housing. We did the Spicer Ultimate 44s because Parts Mike in Newcastle had them in stock, and they installed them like it was like instant. Like, we bought it and then like the next day they were installing it, or the next week, I mean, it was really quick to get on their schedule. The reed knuckles were huge, I think. The WFO track bar, the Curry steering, I would go straight to Curry steering. I would bypass the Synergy and the WFO or the Metal Cloak stuff. I would have done all those things from the start. I went through like 4 or 5 track bars, 4 or 5 drag links, 3 tie rods, a couple sets of ball joints, like all kinds of BS trying to get to drive straight. And that was just, that was after already getting caster to 7 degrees and getting toe dialed in. It was like other things just kept failing. Like literally tie rod ends were failing. What should the factory do differently? I think it all has to do with the front axle. I think the factory needs to put in 3/8 tubes, get rid of the FAD, put in 1/4 inch brackets, not like the sheet metal brackets. Do not wallow out the track bar mount at the axle side to like 11/16. I documented that at 500 miles with a video, that at 500 miles, this thing had an 11/16 hold. It was obviously not wallowed out. There was no bare metal showing. It was just from the factory, like super opened up. Track bar should be dead nuts, 9/16 or 14 mil. For that track bar bolt. Also, I would say get rid of those cheap ball joints and put in some Spicer HDs from the factory. Put in a better, much more heavy duty track bar that's like solid stock maybe with better rod ends. And then getting rid of that aluminum box, which I think they already did. This is a 2020. I think in 2022 and above they went to the cast iron boxes. I think that's it, just the steering stuff. Otherwise, the thing's freaking awesome. I mean, as far as a turnkey rig that's been mostly reliable, if not perfectly reliable for 40K, like I said, the steering thing, this one could have been like a lemon as far as the steering goes. I've talked to some guys who've had nightmares with their steering like I have, and I've talked to other guys who've had no problems and they freaking still have all the original steering and it drives straight as heck and they take it everywhere. So I don't know what's going on there. Would I buy it again? I think as a daily / easy to mild trail rig, I wouldn't buy it again. I think I would do a 6th gen Bronco only because the IFS and they drive super freaking straight. I drove my buddy Mitch's 6th gen and the thing was like amazing. And he was on 35s, I was on 35s. And test driving his rig was like night and day. And I knew that being IFS, but it was like amazing. It would either be a 6th gen Bronco or like a Tacoma, like a newer Tacoma with maybe a 1-inch budget lift and some 33s. I think that would be kind of what I would do differently compared to this for like a daily / easy to moderate trails. If this wasn't a daily driver, I would totally grab this over the Bronco or the Tacoma. I do have a stock Cherokee that I'm building another video that's going to be like my new daily. This thing will be the mild wheeler. The XJ behind us will be the hardcore rock crawler. It's on tons and 40s. So it kind of depends on what you're trying to do with it. I think if you wanted a daily driver, because of the steering wander and the death wobble issues, I would steer away from it unless you go straight to the endpoint. Like what I figured out to be the endpoint is just freaking doing aftermarket front housing, beefy track bar from WFO and Curry steering, and just never have to worry about it, and some good Spicer ball joints and some reed knuckles. Yeah, so what would I buy instead? I already covered that. So yeah, either a 6th gen Bronco or Tacoma for like a daily / easy to mild rig. I follow a lot of guys on Gold Country Broncos that literally wheel the crap out of their 6th gen Broncos with IFS after beefing up the rack and pinion and tie rods. So that would make me heavily reconsider just going to a 6th gen Bronco. I'm a Jeep guy. I've always owned Jeeps. I've had tons of Jeeps in my life. I've probably owned hundreds of different Cherokees and Dub Js. I've mostly wheeled only Cherokees all my life and driven them. They're super reliable. This is new territory for me. It was definitely a little sketchy getting in there, but I do like it. So I think if you have any questions about the 40,000 mile review, I mean, we've really had to do like hardly anything at all. I think some last minute inputs would be is that we do oil changes every 4,000 to 5,000 miles, and I did replace both batteries at about the 4-year mark. We're actually a little bit over 4 years. And so I just went to Napa with a 20% off sale and got both batteries, and they were super easy to replace. I know that the only 2 problems, the 2 main problems that I see with these are like lifter tick, like top end failures due to the oil galley plugs, I think, not being torqued right from the factory, and just top end failures, and also the whole like aux battery failing and leaving you stranded. So eventually I'll bypass the aux battery, and hopefully we don't have the lifter tick top end failures that a lot of these 3.6 guys have. But other than that, I mean, I'm not really that worried about it. I'll just keep driving it. And yeah. So if you can, please like, comment, subscribe. Check out the rest of the videos on my channel if you can. I got a lot more coming, and we got a lot of other videos on XJs, JLs, my Wagoneer, old school full-size Jeep. And stay tuned and go wheel. All right, so this is after credit scene. How did we buy it? I've never bought a new car before. I've always paid like $1,000 cash for a Cherokee on Craigslist, or $500 and just driven. That's what we've normally done. So we went on JL Wrangler forum, and I just researched what people were doing to buy a new Wrangler. And it looks like there was someone putting out the invoice pricing for all the like invoice cost of the Wranglers. And everyone was kind of listing dealers that were friendly to JL Wrangler forum members. And I did find a dealer in Southern California who was willing to go like 5% below invoice, which I thought was amazing. And I've never bought a new car. It still seemed like way too much money for me, but it was like way cheaper. I think most people were paying in the 60s for these at the time, and we paid like low 40s for it. And that was a custom order with the HD tow package, HD electrical upgrade package, and then the cold weather package. So those are the only three. Like no steel bumper group, no leather seats, no lane assist or whatever it is. None of that bullshit. Just did the other, like the three things that I really didn't want to do myself, and that was like it. Oh, I think we did the headliners, which I don't know. We probably could have not done that. And we actually ended up getting the Auburn Jeep dealer to kind of match the pricing from the SoCal guy. Last minute before we like flew down there, they kind of freaked out because they thought we were buying from them. They were trying to sell me freaking 2019 with a camshaft code, which is indicative of the oil galley plugs failing. If you have a camshaft sensor code at 500 miles, they eat the freaking cam sensors when the oil galley plugs weren't torqued right. I've researched those TSPs like crazy. What'll happen is you'll replace the cam sensor, go 1,000 miles, 5,000 miles, you replace it again. Eventually the rig's gonna start running like shit because it's eating the cam, and then you're doing a top end. And I was like, that must have been one of those that was built on a Monday. Dude forgot to torque the oil galley plugs. I don't want that one. And they were like pissed that we didn't want it after we told them we wanted to custom order something. Anyways, that's our story. I've never bought a new car. It was interesting. I'd rather go on Craigslist and give someone like $300 for an XJ that barely runs and fix up the XJ for a couple grand and just drive the crap out of that, which is what we just did with the blue XJ video. And we got some more blue XJ videos coming out, and we just rebuilt the whole top end of the motor on the Wagoneer, and I plan to start ripping around in that some more and hopefully do some camping and wheeling in that thing. So yeah, stay tuned. Like I said, these are like bonus after credit scene. I don't know, this video's hitting 12 minutes. I'm gonna go. Thanks for tagging along this week.